Back in the day, like years ago, I would have told you that you have to eat every 2 hours, because I used to literally believe when I was more like in my 20s, when I was reading just the magazines, when really like internet really wasn't that big yet, I would read everything that was in the magazines. I sincerely believed that if you do not eat every 2 hours, your metabolism slows down and you fall out of the fat burning zone, which, I mean, just saying it out loud right now is just, damn, so much unnecessary stress, so much drudgery that I put myself through. And I was also trying to eat super clean all the time, like brown rice over white rice, chicken breast over just ground chicken or ground turkey. Like, I was eating so strict. Looking back, that strictness caused me to kind of develop the whole lifestyle approach that I do right now. So in a way, it was a blessing. But to answer the question of how often should you eat, what times should you eat, the very first question you want to ask yourself is, how many times a day can you realistically get a meal in? For some people, that is just one. Now, that's an extreme scenario, but for most people, you can get at least 2 times of the day where you can literally sit down and have a meal. So whatever it is for you, that's what you have to determine first. So whether it's 2, 3, maybe 4, honestly, I don't recommend having more than 4 meals a day. I mean, unless you just love to have smaller meals, but I'd rather have bigger meals because they fill you up more. But let's just say it's 3 meals for you, right? Then the second thing you want to ask yourself or kind of determine is, what time do you usually go to bed? Now, first off, you should know that people that live a long and healthy life, they usually have a good circadian rhythm. They go to bed at the same time and they wake up at the same time every morning. And I know that's a lot to ask for most Americans or people in Western civilizations, but it's the truth. So if you know roughly what time you go to bed every night, let's say it's 10 p.m., then ideally you want to have your last meal 3 hours before that. So if you go to bed at 10 p.m., you stop eating around 7 p.m. If your last meal is at 7 p.m. and you have 3 meals a day, then really the next question you should ask yourself is, do you want to do intermittent fasting? If you're looking to get lean and honestly just make things so much easier for yourself, then I highly, highly recommend that you just fast in the morning. Now, the reason a lot of people don't fast in the morning is because they're scared of losing muscle, but that's just not the case. As long as you eat enough protein, as long as you keep your calories good, like, you'll stay lean, even though you are having dessert every night. Because if you intermittent fast in the morning, that means that, let's say you go to bed at 10 p.m., stop eating at 7 p.m., you can start eating at 11 a.m., let's say, right? So then you have an eating window of 8 hours. Now, that means that you're fasting, not getting any calories in, for 24 minus 8 is 16 hours. And during those 16 hours is when your body will boost its insulin sensitivity, and it will prepare itself basically for the food that you're about to eat. So it will take all that food and have a better nutrient partitioning, meaning it will take all the amino acids, all the proteins, and put them where they need to be. Versus if you eat all day, you are taxing your digestion a little bit more. And just if you eat all day, it's so much easier to overeat versus having just an eating window where you can just know, all right, I have 8 hours and I have to get 3 meals in, and then it's easier to stick to your calories. So last meal is at around 7 p.m., right? If you start eating, let's say at 11 a.m., have 1 meal in between, and that's it. But the times you eat are individual for everybody. So first you ask yourself how often you want to eat, then you ask yourself what time you go to bed, then you ask yourself, do you want to fast? I recommend you do. And then you have your times of when you will be eating. It's really that simple. With that said though, I do want to imprint in your head that consistency is key, you already know. Compliance is the science. Like, you can read about intermittent fasting and all the benefits of it, and there are benefits to it. But if you're not able to stick to it, then it doesn't matter. Compliance is a science. And really, what I said about this circadian rhythm, about going to bed at night at the same time every night, and waking up at the same time every morning, the same thing if you apply the same strategy to your meals, you're gonna make it so much easier on yourself. So if you, especially during weekdays, have set times when you eat, then not only will you have regularity in your food, but you will also create anticipation for meals coming up. So let's say you have 11 a.m. In my case, 11 a.m. I have my acai bowl. I mean, literally at 9:30, I'm already thinking, damn, I can't wait for 11 a.m. because I love my acai bowl. And that's the next step, is to learn to love your meals, knowing what time you're gonna have them, and then you have that consistency. And if you literally just do that Monday through Friday, then it's gonna be so much easier as well to get through the weekends without becoming a big lardy turd